My Little Avengers by Koolerkid. Chapter 7. Spitfire, captain of the Wonderbolts and one of the most talented flyers in Equestria, finally got back to the room she was sharing with her close friend and teammate Soren around noon, the day after the disastrous party.
Free publicity,
her agent said.
This time some more race.
She said, yeah, Spitfire was pretty sure she wasn't doing parties like this again. Not for a long while. Soren looked up from what was apparently the fifth in line of pies, judging by the empty pie tin.
Spitfire!
He exclaimed in relief, giving her a hug.
I was worried about you!
So I see, Spitfire said teasingly, gesturing with her head toward the empty pie tins. She hugged it back and gave an offensive jab with her hoof. Not so worried you couldn't guarantee yourself on pie, huh?
Hey, being nervous makes you hungry,
Soren said defensively. Everything makes you hungry, Soren, Spitfire said lightly, popping her head tiredly. Besides, what's there to be nervous about? I was just getting some tests done. You know some egghead unicorns. They love their tests. Soren's covered a hoof on the floor.
It's just, you were taking so long. I thought something was wrong. You know, I heard some ponies got really, weird mutations. This one color I saw looks like he turned into solid rock.
He paused, giving his friend an odd look.
Say, is that why the hairs came through so long? Did you,
mutate? Spitfire asked, raising an eyebrow. It's okay, you can say it. It's not a disease, Soren. It's just, I don't know. They used a lot of big words I couldn't get. But what I could get is the way we fly or move clouds, just a little extra.
Soren looked profoundly uncomfortable. Oh, come on, Chief. I didn't mean it like that. It's just weird is all. I mean, it's like something out of a comic book. Like a Power Ponies issue. It's not exactly the kind of thing you really see.
He paused, giving his captain a quizzical look.
So, did you?
Spitfire's face broke into a wide grin. Yep. Wanna see? Soren looked nervous, but he resolved to be excited for Spitfire's sake.
Sir!
He said, his enthusiasm at least partly real.
It's not dangerous or anything, is it?
Not if I'm careful, Spitfire said, hopping off the bed. That's why I was with the doc so long. Took a little while to figure out how to get it under control. But I've got it now, so no worries. Watch my mane. Her brow furrowed in concentration. Soren obediently watched her flame-colored mane carefully, waiting for something. Several awkwardly silent moments passed before he saw something. Her mane began to move and shimmer as still alive, and then, suddenly, it burst into flame. Soren looked back with a yell, his eyes wide as saucers, but Spitfire grinned at him. Take it easy, you big baby. I got it under control. Soren blinked, somewhat shocked to see his friend unharmed, despite the fact that her mane was seemingly made of fire now. Pretty neat, huh? I think it suits me. I can control it too. What? Soren watched in awe as Spitfire concentrated again, raising a hoof and pointing it forward. A jet of flame shot out from it, burning briefly before going out. Spitfire grinned, firing another jet, this time as he forged it into a burning ring and made it hover in the air for several seconds before allowing it to disperse.
That's amazing, Chief,
Soren said, with honest admiration in his voice.
Scary, but amazing.
I wonder if we can work it out into our routines. I was thinking the same thing, Spitfire said, her mane returning to normal. I think I should probably practice it with a bit more first, though. Fire's pretty dangerous. Don't want any pony getting hurt. She grinned broadly. Still, think of the stunts we could pull, huh? Soren grinned with her.
It does really suit you, too.
He gave a small sigh.
Oh, Colt. No, I wish I got a mutation, too.
Spitfire pointed a hoof around her friend comfortably. Ah, sorry, Soren. You didn't get anything?
Nothing! I mean, I guess I should be happy. Lots of ponies got some pretty awful mutations. Better than something bad, right?
Soren grimaced as he remembered the Blue Earth pony that had been teleporting around the testing room when he'd gone to see the doctors to check for mutations. Teleporting might be cool, but the poor pony looked like he was something out of a nightmare. He hadn't seemed terribly bothered by it, though.
Still, I guess I'm kind of jealous.
Jealous? Spitfire asked, suddenly surprised. What do you have to be jealous of? You're still one of the best stunt flyers I know, and I don't know any pony who can put away pies like you can. That's practically a superpower in itself. That got a chuckle out of him. Don't worry so much, Soren. I may have some new tricks, but you'll always be my wing cult.
Thanks, Chief, Soren said with a smile. That means a lot coming for you. Oh, I just remembered. Now that you're finally back, me and the rest of the bolts are going down to Pony Joe's for some donuts. You want to come?
Spitfire shrugged. I don't know. I'm gonna beat. I was thinking about getting some rest. Why don't you go without? Her friend standing slowly, Her legs buckled and collapsed under her. She could barely hear Soren's panic yells as her vision faded away and replaced with something else. She could see the rubble of Pony Joe's, with the bodies of ponies laying scattered about the floor. Right in front of her was Soren, his back bent in a way back shouldn't bend. Just beyond Soren was a massive earth pony, larger than even an alicorn, with bulging muscles and a green coat. With a furious roar, the enormous raging pony reared up, brought his hooves down on Soren's skull.
Chief? You okay, Chief?
Spitfire's vision came back into focus to see Soren's confirmed face, looking down at her. Saw her in? She murmured. Her head was aching. What happened?
I don't know. He just blacked out for a second there.
Soren held her to a hose.
It was just a few seconds, though. Maybe you're more tired than you thought.
Probably. Oh. Spitfire tried to laugh it off, but fell uneasy. Beast's roar from her hallucination still echoed in her head. The doc said I might get kind of dizzy if I used my powers too much. I better get some rest, huh?
Yeah, you better,
Soren said, helping her to bed.
You want me to stick around? Keep an eye on you?
You're a sweetheart, Soren. I'll be fine. She waved to Hofam and smiled with a cheerfulness he didn't feel. You go get your donuts. Though, how can you still eat after all those pies? I'll never understand. Bring me back a chocolate glaze, huh?
You got it, Chief,
Soren replied, snapping a smart salute out of habit. Spitfire chuckled.
You get some rest. I'll be back later.
He left, and Spitfire snuggled into her blankets. You'll be fine, she told herself. It was just a hallucination. You're just tired, that's all. Maybe the craziness of that party left you a bit more shaky than you thought. It's nothing. You'll be fine. Right? Spitfire awoke suddenly to the feeling of being watched. She nervously glanced around. The room seemed empty. She lay back down, and suddenly there was a pink mare in the bed with her. Spitfire stared. The pink mare stared back. Hi! Spitfire gave a loud yell and jerked backwards, falling off the bed in surprise. Who the hell are you? And why the hell are you in my room? She angered demandingly, scrambling to her host. What's sorry? The mare giggled, hopping out of bed. Didn't mean to scare you. I'm Pinkie Pie, and you're Spitfire. My bestest best friend in the world, Rainbow Dash, is your biggest fan ever! Spitfire felt herself relax. The mare was not clearly all there, but seemed relatively harmless. You're friends with Rainbow Dash? She asked, remembering the Rainbow Pegasus who pulled off the Sonic Rainboom at the Best Young Fighters competition. She was a bit rowdy, but a good kid. Her friends probably weren't dangerous. Probably. Yeah, we're best friends forever, Pinkie Pie said enthusiastically. Anyway, sorry about sneaking into your room and waking you up and scaring you and eating your last pie. Those are Soren's. But I thought I should tell you that you should listen to it, Pinkie finished. Listen. Spitfire was confused. Listen to what? Your Spitfire sense, of course, Pinkie said cheerfully. See, I have a pinky sense that tells me when things are going to happen, and my right host started itching, which usually means I'm ignoring my pinky sense and I need to listen to it. And so I haven't got it twice all day. Then my neck got crampy, which meant I was thinking about the wrong pony, so I kept thinking about all the different ponies I know until I thought about you, and it stopped thinking. It took a long time, though, because I know a lot of ponies. Spitfire blinked, her brain trying to process what the energetic mare was trying to say. So, you think I have something like your pinky sense? Something that predicts the future? Isn't that, I don't know, impossible? Pinkie shrugged. I don't know. Tyler said it was impossible. She got really upset about it, but eventually she came down and said it worked anyway. Besides, I never let being impossible stop me, and that was even before all sorts of impossible stuff started happening all over the place. Pinkie suddenly got really uncomfortably close to Spitfire's face. So, did your Spitfire sense go up? Any twitches or itches or floppy ears or... Spitfire backed up a bit, holding up a hoof. I got a hallucination, or I thought it was, like some kind of vision. Her mouth suddenly went dry. Really? That's so cool! My pinky sense never does that. Pinkie paused and cocked her head to the side. Oh! My host saw Lindsay! That must be it. I better get going now before Rainbow Dash misses me. It kind of gets lonely at night, you know. Bye! She bounced away, right out the door and down the hall. Spitfire barely noticed, as the implications of Pinkie's visit slowly dawned on her. Oh, Celestia. I've got to get to Pony Joe's! She threw the room, opened the room's window, leapt into the air, shrieking out over candlelight. Pony Joe's didn't look ruined. Spitfire flew towards a small donut shop, her racing heart beginning to calm. Everything looked calm, orderly, under control. Maybe it was just a hallucination. Maybe that crazy pink mare was just a crazy pink mare. Maybe nothing was wrong, and she was panicking over nothing. The worst danger Soren was in danger of getting a bellyache. So, Why did all of her instincts scream that something was horribly, horribly wrong? She was feeling that she got what she wants, a cocky Pegasus training. He would dive too late or pull out, or when an amateur stunt pony tried to pull a trick that was going to land him in the hospital. Every bone in Spitfire's body screamed that something bad was going to happen. Fine. She'd go in, tell his story she was feeling better, have a few donuts, and go home. Everything would be fine. She proved to herself nothing was wrong, and she could put this nonsense behind her. She began her descent toward the shop as the sun finished setting behind her. Suddenly, the entire front of Pony Joe's erupted outward under a kick of the enormous green monster from Spitfire's vision. It, roared its anger to the skies, screaming something incoherent to the ponies inside the shop. Spitfire didn't think. She just acted, remaining covering her body aflame and propelling her forward many times faster than she had ever managed alone. She went into a steep dive and collided with the roaring green beast at a speed that would have panicked a lesser Pegasus. As it were, ramming the mutated pony like hitting a brick wall. But Spitfire let loose an explosive flame the moment of impact, knocking the monster across Pony Joe's and through the other wall. Spitfire landed, running into the ruined store. Injured ponies lied all over the floor. Joe was slumped over the counter, moaning fitfully, and there, on the floor near the center of the store, was Soren. It was just like her vision. Soren's back was bent in a way a pony's back was not meant to bend. Bruises and cuts covered his body, and her wings were split out, one clearly broken. Spitfire knelt down, putting an ear next to his mouth. He was breathing, only barely. Another roar distracted Spitfire from her fallen friend, as the monster tore his way back to the shop, widening the hole his exit had made. "Hulk! Smash, puny fire pony!" he roared, his massive hind legs bunching up. He leapt at her, at a speed no Earth pony was ever meant to attain, his front hose outstretched to pound a much smaller pony to dust. Let's see. Voiced Thor, voiced Hulk. If I keep this up, I'm going to hit all of the people I've always wanted to voice list praise by the end of the year. Once again, Spitfire acted on instinct. Her instinct saved her life on more than one stunt gone bad, and she learned to trust him. She obeyed them now. "Smash this, flake hole!" she yelled, a torrent of flame erupting from her, smashing into the oncoming green juggernaut. The sheer force of the flame forced him back, knocking him from the store once again. This time, Spitfire followed him out, more smoke pouring from her eyes as her tears evaporated on contact with the flame surrounding her. "You hurt my friend," she growled, as the massive beast got back on his hooves. "I'm going to burn you to ass." "Hulk, hate fire! Hate fire!" the beast yelled. It certainly wasn't the most intelligent being in Equestria. It charged Spitfire with an earth-shaking yell, each hoofstep cracking the pavement beneath it. Spitfire flared her wings, enormous wings of flame extending out from them. The fire covered her whole body, transforming her from a mere pony into a living avatar of flame. She exploded forward, the force of her flames driving her forward into a green giant, knocking it off its hooves. She flared her flames, daring the beast further, through 2 brick walls and into the hard stone of Camelot Castle. The beast grunted at impact, trying to slide Spitfire away with his hooves, but it was slow and clumsy. Spitfire backed away, and loosed another torrent of flame, pouring all the flame she could summon onto the beast. The stone around him began to melt into molten slag, and the steam from her eyes grew so thick as to obscure her vision. "Burn!" she screamed, not caring for her own fire aura was dying. Her wings felt like they were made of lead. "Burn! Burn! Burn! Burn!" She felt a hoof on her shoulder, and suddenly her mind resurfaced. Her burning of soul ceased, and she took the look to had touched her. Through the steam around her eyes, she could see Thor flying just behind her. A gentle look on his face. "Well, that is enough," he said in a quiet, commanding tone. "The beast is defeated. The friend is safe. Rest now." As though her body had merely been waiting permission, Spitfire felt herself losing consciousness. The docs warned her, she remembered dimly. She couldn't overuse her powers, or she'd run the risk of draining her supply of magic. She vaguely felt her host catching her, as her wings faltered, and her world went black. The doctors tried to tell Spitfire she needed to rest, but she refused to listen. Her wings felt like lead weights, making flight impossible, but she managed to find her way to Soren's bedside. She stayed there, watching Soren's battered body struggling to live. He was hooked up to several machines, filling the room with whirs and beeps, and the soft glow of healing magic covered his body in a gentle blue light. It was all her fault. She should have gone with Soren, or convinced him to stay in the room with her. She should have taken her vision seriously, but she ignored it, And now Soren was hurt. Maybe dying. What would she do if Soren died? He was closest friend, her most constant confidant, not to mention an important part of the Wonderbolts. Oh, Celestia, what would happen to the team if Soren... No, he'd be fine. She had to believe that. Even if his breathing was shallow and heartbeat uneven and his spine broken, she had to believe he'd get better.
You all should be resting now, you know?
Spitfire spun around to see an unusually large stallion with a bright red cloak and a cutie mark shaped like a large green apple. There was a sympathetic look on his face. It included a sense of calm and stability. Spitfire felt herself relaxing in his presence.
Docs say you got some pretty bad magic exhaustion. Y'all need lots of rest if you're going to recover. There's a few mono posters in the room.
Spitfire turned away in shame, turning back towards her fallen friend. I can't rest. It's my fault Soren got hurt. He's my best friend, and I let him get hurt.
Sorry, that's just not true,
The stallion said, comforting, walking over to stand beside her.
Well, I heard it. You're the only reason your friend is still alive at all. Y'all be proud.
Spitfire shook her head slowly. I knew what was going to happen. I don't know how, but I did. I had a vision, I guess, of that monster killing Soren. I just ignored it. I assumed it was a hallucination. If I take it seriously, that Soren would be...
Her voice caught. She couldn't speak. Hi, now.
The large plane put a comforting huff around her.
Thinking about what could have been won't get you nowhere. Y'all saved his life. This was important here. Oh, really? Your friend's real lucky.
I just talked to the docs, and they found something real interesting.
Your friend's a mutant.
Spitfire gave him a surprised look. A mutant? But he said he didn't...
Well, yeah, they missed it before,
the other pony said, with a nonchalant shrug.
One of the problems with mutations is that we've got no clue what to look for. But the brainiacs at Celestia School took a look at him, and he's likely a mutant. Specifically, he's got what they're calling a low-level regenerative capability, which, as near as I can figure, means he heals real good. It'll take weeks, maybe months, but your friend's gonna make a full recovery.
Spitfire felt a massive weight lifting from her. She gave a massive sigh of relief, slumping against Soren's breast. Oh, thanks, Celestia, she whispered, a few tears slipping from her eyes. Both she and the other pony were silent for several moments, before she turned to him, wiping her eyes. Thank you, she said softly. Who are you?
You're welcome, miss. My name's Macintosh. Macintosh Apple. Most ponies call me Big Macintosh, or Big Mac. Just Mac.
He extended a huff toward her, and she shook it slowly.
Princess Luna sent me here to talk to you about this team I'm helping put her together.
A team? Spitfire asked curiously. What kind of team? Already a member of the Wonderbolts.
I understand. Y'all got responsibilities y'all need to attend to. Believe me, I felt the same way. But this is important stuff, so at least hear me out.
As Spitfire's hesitant nod, Big Mac continued.
It's not going to be a big team, at least not at first. More 5 ponies at most. Small teams bond faster. Makes it easier for all of them to get used to each other. That's what she told me. The team's going to be headed by Thor, and it's going to make up for what the princess calls exceptional ponies. Ponies with power like you, but also with the spirit and courage to go stand up against a rampaging green monster to protect your friends.
Spitfire didn't exactly feel very brave at the moment. And what exactly is this team for?
Well, at the moment, it's going to be mainly for fighting Loki. Last opponent who planned the attack on the castle 2 days ago. But officially, our job will be to protect Equestria from all the stuff normal ponies can't handle. With all the mutants all over the place now, there's going to be ponies out there that the normal peacekeeping force just isn't able to cope with. That's why the princess is putting this team together. To deal with it.
He gestured towards the sleeping Soren.
So that what's happened to Soren won't happen to some other pony who can't heal. To protect Equestria from those who can't control their mutations. Not this Hulk feller. Or those who use their mutations to hurt others.
He looked straight into Spitfire's eyes, with intensity that startled Spitfire.
You in?
Spitfire took a deep breath and glanced at Soren. I want to make sure what happened to Soren will never happen again, she said finally, looking back at Big Mac.
I'm in! Good.
Big Mac said, his intensely serious expression replaced by an easy-going grin.
Glad to have you on board. Just one thing. It's probably kind of pointless with what you being a celebrity, but the princess thinks we all have secret identities, like in the comic books. Costumes, code names, the whole 9 yards. Personally, I don't see the point. Fine charts, am I? Anyway, the princess already picked a cool name out for you, if you want. How's Firebird sound?
Spitfire looked thoughtful, then grinned. Firebird. I like it. A minute, audience. Right now, in your head, you're playing the Earth's Mightiest Heroes theme. Also, just a minute, when you read this fic for the first time, and you saw that Spitfire was named Firebird, the first thing you did was either go to online, went to the Marvel Wiki, or grabbed your Marvel Encyclopedia handbook and looked her up. Because I did that when I first read this. Chapter 8. Rarity walked down the halls of Canterlot Hospital, feeling more apprehensive than she had since the attack on Canterlot Castle nearly a week ago. The foe she now faced was much less dangerous than gods, magicians, or enormous dragons, but it made her nearly as nervous. Once again, she glanced down at the letter she carried with her magic, still not able to fully believe it. Even what the letter had said was true. Why would he want her to come visit him? What plan could he possibly have for her? In all honesty, Rarity hadn't wanted to come. She had just returned to her boutique in Ponyville a scant few days ago, and wished to relax. Go back to Canterlot so quickly seemed mad, especially at the behest of one of the few ponies in all Equestria she felt little goodwill towards. Twilight had to convince her to go, if only to bring herself some closer. Rarity finally reached her room. The receptionist had directed her to. She stood outside for several minutes, trying to work up the nerve to enter. Eventually, she took a long, deep breath and knocked.
Come in, please,
said a smooth, closer voice, even though she knew the true nature of the voice's owner. It sent a shiver down her spine. It took Rarity a moment to steel herself, before brushing into her room, her fast, haughty indifference. Her icy mask melted quickly, however, as she took the scene before her.
Lady Rarity,
said the figure on the bed, weak but excited.
Oh, I did not think you would come.
The pure white unicorn lay down in a hospital bed, looked much weaker and more frail than Rarity had seen him last. A number of machines were connected to him in a variety of ways, most notably a large machine covering his chest, and bathing in magic strong enough to make Rarity's horn tingle, even from across the room. I did not think I would either, Rarity confessed. But my dear friend Twilight Sparkle convinced me I should, in order to receive an apology. She nearly said, tell you off, but she couldn't bring herself to say it. How are you, Prince Blueblood? The Royal Prince of Equestria gave Rarity a sad, pained smile.
Not well, I'm afraid, but I'm glad you came, Lady Rarity.
So it's true, then, Rarity said, seating herself on the couch and providing for the guests. What you said in the letter, that you're
dying?
Blueblood finished for her. His voice was heavy.
Yes, I'm afraid so. Well enough with this contraption on my chest, I'd be dead within the hour. Even so, I only have a few scant weeks to live, at best.
Rarity felt a lump in her throat. As much as she hated the stallion, she would not wish a slow death in a hospital bed upon anyone. She found it exceedingly harder to harbor a grudge towards the dying pony. What happened? Was it at the party?
Ah, yes, the party. I hadn't thought it was possible for any celebration to have a worse conclusion than the disaster of the Ghana. Blueblood chuckled dryly. Yes, it was the party that spelled my doom. During the dragon's attack, a chunk of masonry from the castle walls came loose and was shattered by a blow. Whether it was from the dragon or Thor, I know not, and I care not. What is important is what happened to the shrapnel.
Rarity predicted where this conversation was going. Eraser moved to a horror. Oh no, you were hit?
In the chest, yes. Blueblood tapped the device that was strapped to him. The stone did not penetrate far, but the walls of Canterlot Castle are reinforced with iron. A sliver of the metal lost itself in my chest, far too close for my heart to be extracted. Without this device keeping the metal steel, healing my constantly bleeding heart, and performing half a dozen other medical spells, the iron would tear my heart apart in less than an hour.
Rarity was shocked at how easily the prince, formerly so disgusted at the thought of a dirty coat, would be so blasé with discussing its own death.
As it is, my heart cannot withstand the strain for too long. The doctors theorized that the metal silver could be immobilized, though 30. I might live, though I'd be stuck on life support indefinitely. And there you have it, Lady Rarity. Your revenge at last.
Revenge? Rarity squeaked. But I didn't. I never... Blueblood raised her weakly.
I was speaking rhetorically. I deserved no less than this after the way I treated not only you, but every other pony I've encountered throughout my life. Mares particularly. I have perhaps not led the most admirable life.
Verity raised an eyebrow. I believe that is something of an understatement.
Blueblood laughed weakly. Perhaps, but being here, dying, it changed my perspective on a lot of things. Before my image was all that mattered. I needed to be the royal prince, the most eligible and handsome stallion in all Equestria. Looking good was all I cared about.
He rested his head against the pillow.
And now I lay here and look back on my life, and I realize how pointless it all was.
Verity opened her mouth to say something, but couldn't think of anything to say. Blueblood continued uninterrupted.
I never accomplished anything in all my years as a prince. I never contributed anything to ponykind. 10 years from now, the name Blueblood will elicit only blank stares.
Verity was profoundly uncomfortable. The prince's monologue was deeply personal. Something he told the family or close friends, not to a Mary you hardly knew, and had a very good reason to hate you. I'm so sorry to interrupt, Verity said, finally, cutting off the prince's speech. But why did you call me here? Is it to apologize? To elicit pity from me? I'm deeply sorry for your condition, your highness, but I frankly don't see what it has to do with me. Blueblood blinked at her, his mind sitting gears.
Ah, yes, I apologize. I got lost in my thoughts. I did, in fact, call you here for a reason. Look at that nightstand there.
He gestured to a small bedside table with one hoof. Hesitantly, Verity approached the nightstand, using her magic to lift a manila folder that rested there. She began flipping through the papers contained within, her brow furrowing in confusion. These are schematics of some kind, she said finally. I don't understand what this has to do with me. Did you design these? I didn't think you were an engineer.
I did design those, and I am not an engineer, or at least I didn't used to be, Blueblood responded. This splinter of metal in my heart is not my only souvenir of that fateful night. Cruel Lady Fate saw fit to bestow upon me a mutation of my own. While my body is stricken, my mind is clearer than it's ever been. He tapped his forehead with his hoof. I'm not entirely certain how, but my aunt's magical explosion has gifted me with a radically enhanced intelligence and clarity of thought. Concepts which were so much sinister to before are now little more than a false plaything to my mind. Theories, equations, invitations stand beneath my eyes, begging to be used, so I do not think I would be bragging to say I am now possibly one of the most brilliant minds of Equestria. I also believe it's my new clarity of thought that has opened my eyes to my less admirable qualities. He chuckled dryly. Isn't it ironic? That is my only body that's dying, that my mind feels truly alive.
The prince gestured to the files that Rarity still held as he stared at him, not fully comprehending.
What you hold there is my master plan. A suit of armor combining methods of both magic and science, designed not only to prolong my life, but to allow to begin making amends for a life full of waste and reprehensible behavior. My dear Aunt Princess Luna is constructing a team of extraordinary ponies to defend Equestria from Loki and others like him. And with this suit of armor, I intend to join that team.
Verity shook her head. This is so much to take in, and I still don't see what you want with me. Her patience was growing short. Even as repentant as Blueblood now came to be, he seemed to have difficulty moving the conversation from himself. I designed dresses, not armor. I suppose I could assemble it for you, but surely there are other ponies more qualified. I'm only average in magical ability, and I know little of science.
I apologize, Lady Rarity,
Blueblood said bumily, and which in itself was another shock to Rarity. She wasn't so sure how many shots he could take.
I arrived at my decision nearly after a week of deliberation and thought. There's quite a bit you needed to know before I could explain why I called you here, but now I think we can get to the heart of the matter. Funny.
He nodded at the files.
Turn to page 26, and you'll understand, I think.
Curious, Verity flipped to the page he designated and studied the paper. It took her only a few moments before she understood. Gemstones, Verity said, her eyes widening. Your armor. It uses gemstones. That's the only way you could store enough magical energy to power it. And you could pre-program spells into them to act as tools, weapons.
And life support, yes.
Blueblood nodded, smiling.
If you look, you'll see the cornerstone of the armor is a diamond, which I dubbed the core diamond. This will be enhanced by you to act as a life support, and then to implant it directly into my chest by the best surgeons money can buy.
Blueblood turned to his side, the best he could with the enormous life support vest weighing him down.
Now do you see, all the electronic components are built, all the magic formulae are written. Your skill in blending function and function are second to none, and it is that skill I need to assemble the armor. You are a talented enchanter, and your special talent with gemstones make you uniquely suited to prepare the core diamond and the various other stones contained in the suit.
I don't know, Verity said slowly. I've never studied medicine, and I'm not so confident in my skills that it taught me to let my work be implanted into somebody. She placed the files back into the nightstand. I'm sorry, Your Highness. I really am. I think you really are trying to reform, and if I could help you, I would. But I can't.
She turned to go. Wait! Blueblood nearly sighed, seeing how bright as best he could. Verity paused, but did not turn back. Please. It has to be you, he begged. It's not just your talents. I could hire anybody for that. I chose you. I just don't need just a pony to help me build this hot suit. I need a pony that will help me be the stallion I want to be. You're a kind mare, with a generous heart. You're gentle, friendly, refined, elegant. All the qualities I lacked, all the qualities I want, need to learn. You can teach me. You've seen me at my worst, and you know better than to coddle me or be intimidated by my status, as another pony might. You'll keep me from going back to the way I was. Please. He took a deep breath. In all my life, I've never asked any other pony for help with anything. I've never admitted I was wrong, or apologized for anything I've ever done. That changes now. I was wrong to treat you the way I did. I'm sorry, from the bottom of my heart, and now I need your help. Please. Mary's heart nearly broke into speech. She didn't need Applejack to turn around to tell her Blueblood was being honest. Possibly for the first time in his life. She could hear it in his voice. The silence stretched on for several long minutes. Then Rarity spoke.
You'll provide the materials.
Of course. There was a hint of relief in the prince's voice.
On the equipment.
The best money can buy.
On the gemstones.
I already have a stockpile of the most flawless gems I can find, waiting for you.
And you can have them all delivered to Ponyville. I can't stay away from home for very long. I have to look after my younger sister.
They'll be there by this time tomorrow. Rarity was silent for a few minutes. Then she sighed, turned to look at Blueblood with a smile on her face.
I am at your service, Your Highness.
Blueblood's smile was full of gratitude. Please, my friends just call me Blue. Blueblood knocked on the door to Carousel Boutique and waited patiently. It was a very nice place, actually. It had quite an ornate and intricate design, stark contrast to the simplicity of the rest of the village. The door opened slightly, but instead of Rarity, the door opened with a small filly with a pure white coat and a mane of purple and pink.
Who are you?
She asked, looking up at him. Blueblood gave his best photoshoot smile. I'm Prince Blueblood. You must be Rarity's sister, Sweetie Belle. She told me a lot about you. Is she home? Sweetie opened the door a bit more, narrowing her eyes at the prince.
Yeah, she's here. She said you used to be mean, but you're really nice now.
She gave Prince Blueblood the closest she could to her proximate to a glare, which Blueblood found, quite frankly, adorable.
You're not going to make her cry again like you did at the gal, did you?
Blueblood felt a small shock at the filly's words. Had Rarity really cried after that disaster of a party? He had to make up much to make up for. I'll try my very best to so that never happens again. I promise. Sweetbell continued to regard him suspiciously.
Pinkie Pie promise?
Thankfully, Rarity had informed him of this quaint little ritual they had at Ponyville. Cross my heart, hope to fly. Stick a cupcake in my eye. He said to the rhyme, feeling vaguely ridiculous as he performed the accompanying hoof motions. But the filly seemed satisfied. She turned and galloped towards the house, hollering for his sister. Rarity appeared a mere moment earlier, looking as though she had just applied some makeup.
Blue!
She exclaimed, pleasantly surprised.
The operation was a success then. I expected you to be in bed recovering for some time yet.
I was too restless to stay there. I feel better than I did even before the party. His horn glowed, and Fancy Fest opened. As for the operation, see for yourself. Embedded in his chest was a large diamond, nearly the size of Blueblood's own hoof. You did an amazing job with the enchanting. The doctor says it works perfectly. Not only will it protect my heart, and the added magical energy being pumped into my body means that I'm in better shape than ever before, and I owe it all to you. Then he did something totally unexpected. He bent one of his forelegs to stand on one knee, and bowed his head deeply to Rarity. Thank you, Lady Rarity. You saved my life. Rarity felt herself blush slightly, but she gained control of herself before the prince looked up.
You're quite welcome, dear. And your timing is quite fortuitous. I just finished your armor last night. Come on!
She led Blueblood into the building.
Sweet had already vanished into some unknown corner elsewhere, as fillies were known to do. Blueblood paid little mind, as all his attention was focused on the armor in the center of the room. The glorious set of orange and gold plates, designed to cover the entire body, and tailored to his exact measurements courtesy of Rarity's careful eye for detail. The front breastplate had a hole to fit the crystal in his chest, where it would connect to the suit and provide power. There was a sheath of crystal in the helmet for his horn, and he could feed his own magic into the suit, so he needed an extra boost. A pair of emitter crystals were embedded in his shoulders, designed to release some magical energy for combat. Similar crystals were placed onto the hooves to allow for magic-assisted jumps, even hovering for short periods of time. Rarity regretted not making them sufficient enough for true flight. When Blueblood had assisted for her, they would be fine. There were multiple of other features, both magic and technological, from both Rarity and Blueblood. The armor was a testament to teamwork and an icon of versatility.
It's beautiful,
Blueblood breathed, touching it gently with his hoof, as if afraid it would evaporate. I'm glad you like it, Rarity said with a bright smile. It wasn't easy to make. I'm not used to working with metal. It should be linked with a cold diamond, so you should be able to control it the same way you control your magic. Setting up should be a simple matter of giving the mental command. She gave him an encouraging prod with her hoof, something she never had tried before. Go on, try it. Blueblood took a deep breath and concentrated. He could feel the gentle throbbing of the diamond in his chest. Through it, he could feel the connection with the armor. He gave it a slight mental nudge, but nothing happened. He nudged harder. It took 3 attempts before the armor suddenly came apart and flew from the mannequin it had been resting on. It shot toward him, surrounding himself and assembling itself onto his body. He stiffened in surprise and managed to hold himself still as the armor finished its assembly. You look positively dashing, Blue, Rarity said, looking extremely pleased. She led him to a mirror. What do you think? Blueblood admired himself in the mirror. He certainly looked impressive.
It's excellent, Rarity. It fits perfectly. It's a lot lighter than I thought. Truly, you have a rare gift.
He tested the joints, stretching each joint.
The shoulders are a bit stiff, but they'll probably loosen over time.
Excellent! I was so sorry I had to resize it. That was a bit of travesty. Metal isn't quite as flexible as fabric now. Rarity was beside herself at her success. It was her first time creating something so intricate. Do try to admit the crystals. I have some targets set up in the back room. I could make some tea to celebrate while you test them. She scurried off to the kitchen. Blueblood was just about to go see those targets and test the suit's primary residence when there's a still scream. Rarity's scream came from the kitchen. Eek! Blueblood! Help! Without thinking, Blueblood charged for the kitchen, bursting in to find a room of shambles. Furniture and kitchen appliances were cut to pieces. The cut edges were glowing red hot. The reason was immediately apparent. In the center of the room was a unicorn, with a gunmetal gray coat, wearing a peculiar steel breastplate. More armor covered his cutie mark, and a helmet obscured his face. A pair of long glowing whips were attached to his front hooves, and he was threatening Rarity with them. The magic in those whips was so intense, Blueblood's horn itched through his armor shielding. The truly fit pony looked up at Blueblood as he burst onto the scene. Oh my gosh. Whips, gunmetal gray. Okay, place your bets, people. Place your bets. What do you got here? What do you got here? I've got either Omega Red or Whiplash. Who's got Omega Red? I've got Omega Red here. Prince Blueblood. The intruder monotone, his voice sounding faintly robotic. I am Whiplash. I am here to make you pay for your crimes. His horn glowed, and whip snaked out toward the armored prince. Seals! The prince thought in a panic, and hit him with the armor's circuitry. A small array of crystals lit up with magical power. A shield of sparkling white force appeared before the prince, whips bouncing off them. Blueblood could still feel them impact against his magic, though the pain was significantly lessened. He wouldn't be able to protect himself for long, and he needed to go on the offensive.
Time to test the emitters then,
he thought to himself, focusing on the emission crystals. First, he ignited one of his hooves, launching them out of the way of Whiplash's second assault, landing on the mysterious attacker's other side. Blueblood activated the suit's targeting program with a thought, his own design, and fired the shoulder emitters. The blasters had near pinpoint accuracy, Prince blasting Whiplash square in the back, causing him to stumble. His armor protected him, however, and he spun about. Your newest toy is a present, Prince, Whiplash intoned, but I cannot save you from the weight of your past sins. The whips lost again, but this time Blueblood was prepared. His emitters fired again, knocking the whips off course as Blueblood himself charged to his foe. The armor enhanced his strength and was colliding with Whiplash, knocking him onto the floor. Whiplash righted himself quickly and glared at the prince. You will not defeat me, the strange pony groaned out. The whip slashed out again, but not toward Blueblood this time. Blueblood sent his whip toward Rarity. Rarity was too shocked by the events to react, but Blueblood was not. Blueblood again reacted without thinking, leaping to the path of the glowing whips to protect the mirror was by. He managed to get his shields up in time to deflect some of the hit, but he could feel the pain through the armor's feedback. He smelled burning metal. He was hit. I am impressed, spoke Whiplash. I never did I expect a selfish prince to protect the life of another. Whiplash raised a hoof, preparing to strike. Unfortunately, what good deed cannot diffuse a lifetime of sin? Die, Prince Blueblood! You first! Blueblood ground out as he righted himself and turned toward Whiplash. The core diamond was glowing brightly as it charged, a focusing ring deploying for the diamond's mount as it gathered energy. I may be a worthless excuse for a pony, but Rarity saved my life, and Blueblood pays his debts! The armor's ultimate weapon, the unit beam, fired a Whiplash, disarming an enormous amount of energy at him. It was so bright, even Blueblood's helmet, most state-of-the-art filtering software he devised, couldn't block out the light. Several moments later, the light faded and Whiplash was gone. In his place, sprawled on the floor, seemingly unharmed, were Sleebell and Auntie Celestia. Blueblood shot. The pink main alcorn feeling got to her hopes and sound remained. What in the question are you doing here?
Triumphs!
Celestia searched cheerfully, and Sleebell got to her hopes.
I wanted to help. I figured the best way to test your new suit and get into Lilith's team was to be a supervillain, like Thor did with Wrecker or Firebird with the Hulk. Only there wasn't any supervillains around. So, Sui and I decided to fake one. We weren't actually going to hurt any pony.
Looking around, Blueblood realized the ruined kitten had been an illusion. Other than some burn marks on the floor from their fight, the kitten seemed perfectly fine. He also noticed a wide grin on Rarity's face. Blueblood frowned, though his helmet hid. You knew.
I'm terribly sorry, Blue,
Rarity said, clearly trying not to laugh.
But there was a great way to test the suit, as Celestia promised her seals could handle anything you did. And I was right,
the miniature guys piped up.
But that last shot overloaded me a bit and made me drop my illusions.
She sounded disappointed.
There was another reason.
Sleebell cheek turned.
We had to be sure you were really nice now, like Rarity said, so we attacked her instead of you, and you saved her.
The filly smile lit up the room.
So romantic.
Blueblood just smiled at his filly symbolistic views, not noticing Rarity's small blush. I'm so glad you approve, but don't ever try anything like this again. You both scared me, Witness. He took a look at Rarity, clearly intending the message was for her as well. She just stared back instantly.
Sure thing,
Celestia chirped.
A prank's no fun if you pull it twice anyway.
She tried.
I gotta go back to the castle before Lulu misses me. I'll tell her to put you on the team. We can call you Iron Pony.
Before Blueblood could respond, Celestia teleported away in a flash. Iron Pony, huh? Blueblood said sorry. I am Iron Pony. He smiled, like the way he sounded. P.S. There's a real big irony for Blueblood playing Iron Pony and being an Iron Man XP. I'll tell you down below in the description. It'll blow your minds and you are going to have a laugh